by their world-class customer service team. Check out their ever-expanding inventory today. Visit myzestynest.com. That's zesty like spicy, nest like home. myzestynest.com.
Okay, we are... Is someone here? Great. We are waiting on more to come on, so 1 second. Okay. You guys, to those joining in. Oh, I see Natalia's on. Natalia, I don't know if you are recording or if your phone was on the Do Not Disturb, but I haven't been able to save my last, 5 lives, so if you can help a girl out, that would be great, but if not, no pressure. I'm trying to connect it to Freedomizer Radio as well, so it's live on both. Okay, that would be great. If not, no worries. I just figured I gotta go with this, So I'm not sick. I am not sick. I am hoping, not that I want you guys to be feeling terrible too, but I'm hoping that maybe I'm not the only one feeling like this, because I've never had issues with pollen. I've never had issues in the spring where it's like, oh my gosh, my whatever is acting up, and now it's just crazy. So I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that. I know it was supposed to be, okay, Lindsay is also feeling the same. I know it was supposed to be a funny meme, right? The Will Smith face, him going, what did the government put in the pollen this year? What is in the pollen this year? But really, you guys, besides the spray, besides whatever it is that we're ingesting, I don't feel like this normally, and I'm feeling like this. Oh, so it's pissing me off just a little bit. But maybe there's a lot of you feeling the same way, and that's great if that's the case. So great for me, meaning that I'm not alone, right? That had me dying, but seriously, yes. Okay, great. Good. Even if there's a handful of you that are also feeling the same, I'm using all the oils. I'm doing the, okay, and I share this here with you guys in the entire, please, whatever I'm saying that I use that works, or at least had worked for me and my family, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everything I talk about is not a one-size-fits-all. Let's just throw that out there. But what I like to do is I like to take coconut water, and I like to put in the glass first the echinacea, right? Sometimes I'll throw in the lobelia or mullein little drops. You could get these supplements typically at a Sprouts, or you could get it at a Whole Foods. And then I'll usually take that glass in the morning, and it just clears up my entire respiratory, and I'm great. Even if I feel like a little bit something's coming on. But I don't know if it had to do with standing outside for 7 hours in California smog that really messed me up, because Friday was intense for a lot of reasons. So I feel like my stress levels were up too. I don't know why I felt like, please just nobody go crazy and start shooting at us, I'm like, somebody might be just dumb enough to run over a bunch of anti-vaxxers today at Disneyland. Raw local honey. Yeah, I have to pick up some more of that, but just, it's really been affecting me. And I only started feeling this way the day after, the Disney protest. So, but then again, I'm seeing that a lot of people that are just in Vegas, where, it's pretty much desert and it's hard for disease to really thrive out here, that they're all noticing the same thing. So it really could just be whatever's around us, But that has a lot to do with the fact that we are, once again, I hate to be your daily reminder, but we're all in a very abusive relationship that many of us are coming out of. Many of us are still involved and not sure what's going on, and not aware that we're in this very abusive relationship with our government. We're basically all toddlers who can work. We can work. We have tax ID numbers, and then we have to, everything that we think we make is vanishes, and that's okay. That's called taxation to them. That's what they're able to label it as, even though it's anybody else that does that It's extortion. We're just citizens to the ward of the state. And I hate to, welcome to those joining in. Oh, those inconvenient, But we are just, it's been this entirely slow division between the classes and people, and we've created this internal turmoil. We're relying on all the wrong things. So welcome. This shouldn't surprise any of us. I've had a lot of people who will ask, how long do I plan on doing this detox spray? And I'm not going to make the talk about the detox thing. Many of you are already following and understand how that stuff works. Hey, this detox, it's your sole responsibility. Look, this was my initial plan. I read about it and I said, I'm going to do this heavy metal detox. I think I want to do this once a year. I want to do this maybe in the winter months, where I'm able to kind of do a little bit more of a detox. I don't really care about I don't know why I picked the winter months, honestly. I don't know if I just imagined myself sitting on a couch with like a big blanket for 3 months straight, which could be the case. But I said I'm going to just do 2 months out of the year to detox my body. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of try to maintain, and then I'll do that again the next year, because I think every year it's good that we do some kind of detoxing, right, for whatever we're putting into our systems. Yes, it's prolonged, it's gone on a little bit longer, but can I just say, it's not the fault of these supplement companies, it's the fault of look, if they would just stop poisoning our food and our water and our air, then maybe we could all just detox once a year. But now I'm feeling like, is this gonna be like a constant thing? I don't wanna be doing sprays all day long. Maybe I know that the one spray does a lot, it covers a lot of surface area. Maybe I'll just do like one spray a day or one spray every few days to just combat what it is I'm dealing with, okay? And I don't wanna spend an hour right now talking about grass. We did just get real grass installed. I was happy about that because I was like, I'm gonna earth and I'm gonna ground, and now I go out there and it's literally like every bug and insect in the entire 4,000 home community that I'm in wants to be just in my garden because everything else is artificial. And the stuff on the golf course is sprayed. It's like Roundup sprayed. So nothing really survives there except the grass. But is it survive? It's not like at that point, is it real grass? So now I'm just like, why are all the animals on my property? Because they're probably like, oh my gosh, it's real grass that has no chemical. This is amazing. We can thrive. We can survive. So I don't know is my answer. I don't know. I know it's irritating to me that I even have to depend on this stuff. It's flipping annoying. I hate that I have to now consider gardening in my life. Look at the garden that we have. It's the most you don't even have to touch it, just stuff grows out of it. That's brilliant to me. I love it. Yes, those tower gardens can grow outside. Most people in states like California, Florida use them outside and they grow anything on there. They can grow watermelon, literally anything that's not rooted. Now I'm like, I gotta get a second one because I want all the microgreens, all of the, because when you can grow your own, it's literally like printing your own money nowadays. If you can grow your own food, it's like the best feeling in the world that you didn't spend $4 on basil at the store to keep it in your refrigerator or wherever, and that you only have 2 days to use it. It's seriously the best feeling. Everything else does not matter to me anymore. Everything else in this house can just go. It can just go. Nothing matters except trying to survive. And I know since we last chatted on Monday, since then I have spoken to 2 older relatives. I did not film them because I wanted to talk to them first, and I don't want to jump into filming stories quite yet. I need to gauge how I'm going to ask these questions, but very similar responses, okay? They went to school during the 50s and 60s era, literally knew nobody with an allergy. They knew of one kid in the entire school that walked funny, and they all said it was probably polio that caused them to just walk funny. No cases of of sickness. They're like, we could just wait. My aunt, who was just here, she left for Florida. She's like, we could just, eat whatever we wanted, do whatever we wanted through the day with no worry, no care. We just didn't care. And we already have all of these kind of problems in this country that we have to worry about, minus the poison. So here, I'm going to give you a breakdown instance of the difference in culture for a second. In a country like the Philippines, it maybe happens, and you could say there's a small percentage, but I personally have never heard of it happening. But in a country like the Philippines, there is none of this pedophilia where like an uncle or a crazy twisted relative is just that you can't trust your kids around them because they're going to sexually molest them. That does not happen, okay, in the Philippines. So when I would take my kids to the Philippines and I would tell friends, like when they'd say, who's watching your kids when you and Jeff get to go out? Now, well, they're either with maids or they're with like my uncle or my cousin, and they're like, what? Like you just would trust them around? And they know what happens in America, right? But it's so weird for them to hear that. And I said, well, no. And they're like, well, how do you trust that? And I go, well, because in a country like that, if any relative or any person is caught physically abusing a little child, they're 6 feet under and nobody gives a shit. They will literally bury your ass and nobody cares, okay? In this country, we protect predators. So there's a huge difference there already, but they just never worried about that kind of stuff. Like, why is it that if your kid gets lost while you're out shopping with your kid, tell me what the first thought that goes through your mind is. Come on. Why is it the most darkest place that they literally got swooped up, okay, that they are now probably going to be a part of a sex trafficking freaking thing, and you'll never see your kid ever again. You'll never get closure in your life. Like, that is the first thing that we think about in this country. They don't think about it over there. They're like, oh my gosh, they got lost. We got to go find them. Like, where did they wander off to? Like, I'm not saying that bad things don't happen there, because bad things do happen there in other countries, third world especially. But they don't have this, like, stigma that we do in America of, like, abusive uncles and weird pedophile relatives. There's just not a thing. So they really didn't have those kind of problems, and then also set aside the fact that she's like, we just kind of ate and did whatever we wanted, and we just never knew of all of these, like, what is going on with you guys? They were shocked. Like, yeah, we have diseases run rampant, but, even my aunt, I wish I recorded, but I'm gonna go ahead and interview her another day. But she was like, and then when you got sick, your parents would just either make you stand over a big basin of like steam water so you could get your, sometimes they'd throw in a bit of like the Vicks type vapor rub just so you could breathe that in. And then that was pretty much all you got. And you would be eating soup for a week and you weren't allowed to go out and play with your friends. And it was like, that was the remedy for when they got sick versus now. So there was a lot there that is just so different. I wish that our problems were that simple, right? But now we're combating every flipping thing under the sun that they've already openly admitted to having to dim. Oh, yeah, so that spray stuff that's all above us, like, I know we told you guys it was contrails for years and years, and we told you it was not chemtrails and you're being silly, but like a decade later, we're going to admit that we're spraying, but we're spraying to just dim the sun. Because we've also lied to you guys for decades and told you that the sun causes skin cancer when the sun is like life, honestly. The sun gives life to everything. But we've made you all really, really afraid of the sun to like go and trust any chemical product that you can put on your skin and on your babies. We don't know why all these problems are happening. Vicks is the Mexican staple of healthcare, Monica. The Filipinos too. But the Philippines was invaded by Spain for about 400 years, which is why almost all of us have Spanish last names. And there's really no true, if you want to see a true Filipino, you got to go into the jungles, okay? They're called like the Igorots. They're literally like the people that are, they're very dark, they're very tribal. They live in the jungles in the Philippines, and they're the kind that like their feet can go out like this. Like they climb trees and everything. Those are like the Igorots, and they live, they survive. They're still thriving. There's also this area in the Philippines, I believe it's called Tando. I gotta look up the name, but anyway, my dad, in the nicest way he could, he called it the a-hole of the universe. Like if the universe had an asshole, this place, Tando, I believe that's the name, would be the asshole of the universe. And I was like, why? And he goes, because it's literally these kids who are living on a landfill. So it's very, it's obviously a poor section. It's a landfill that's kind of a town. And so any child that survives past the age of 10 has, literally, they become Superman to them in the country. Because if you are a kid and you live in this area, growing up on a landfill, and you've literally made it to the age of 10, nothing can kill you. Like at that point, nothing can kill you, and you're actually like, oh, wow, like saluted. It's like this, oh my gosh, like if you meet them, it's like meeting an alien, because nothing can kill them, no disease, no nothing at that point. Their immune systems have literally probably the strongest immune systems on the planet, but you're living on a landfill. So these are obviously the people, because there are people on this planet still that have to practice and exercise their immune system. You know, the Bill Gates Foundation hasn't quite gotten to them yet. The Bill Gates Foundation hasn't quite gone to rescue them yet. We know you're starving, little buddy. We know you're starving and you have no clean water, but it's okay. We have these life-saving vaccines that we're going to pump you full of to just help you out there. You're not going to be able to have kids in about 10, 15 years when you're ready to have kids, but we'll blame it on everything else. And I think that is where the struggle is right now, because you do have a lot of healthy, unvaccinated people who, surprise, surprise, we still get sick, we still get affected by all this stuff. But if we're not getting the poison this way, we are getting it through many other sources. And you know what, you guys? I don't know when my tipping point is going to be. You watch these lives, and many who have been watching for several months will likely not be surprised if it's just all done and turned off one day, because I'll finally find my plot of land that like gets minimal spray, you know, where I can grow at least my goal is not to grow everything. Okay, you got to be entrepreneurial. The goal should be to grow at least a handful of things, maybe 10 things, and make half of those things be super in demand. If half of those things can be really in demand, then you trade. You just trade with people. It's like, look, guys, I can't do the chicken thing. Like, I can't do the beheading or there's certain things I just won't. So here's a lot of really amazing bok choy, though. Who wants to trade? Who wants to trade bok choy for kale? Like, this is exactly how they did things way back when. And it just seems to make the most sense. It's a commune. You all get together on Sundays for your real farmer's market, and you trade. You don't sell, you don't make, you're not like trying to get the Illuminati dollars. That is your source now of like, okay, nourishment. But then it's like there's property tax, and so it's like you're never really free. So you always have to have some kind of income coming in, right? There's got to be some kind of income, because if everything around you is paid off, you still don't own the land that you're living on. Let me just... I did start today off saying, I'm going to make this really uplifting. Jeff was heading out because we got to get an oil change. He's like, okay. I go, no, I think I'm going to take it really light today. I'm just going to like make it really, really uplifting. I start off by talking about our abusive relationship with the government. Anyway. Who is this? Woke Mama Bear goes, hey, I'm moving to 6 acres that's on a farmer's 160 acres. There is well water, and I get to shower and drink non-chlorine and non-fluoride water. That is fantastic for you. That is fantastic. I applaud that. I really do. I applaud that. And for the longest time, I was thinking, I'm not going to move because, my friends who want to come visit, like, people will come to Vegas all the time. Like, that's what I do love about Vegas. You say goodbye to people, but then you know that everybody at least plots out 1 or 2 Vegas trips a year. Like, even for a quick weekend away, to just see a great show that's live and eat really great food, because all the best chefs of the world want to open up restaurants in Vegas. So, you got a lot of options. Your date nights go up by like a lot. But now it's like, no offense, but I don't care. I don't care if no one ever sees me ever again. Just go away. Just go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let me raise up these kids. And then you're going to get to that point 10 years in where you're going to go, okay, my kids now they're obviously hormones. They're going to need to find other kids that are like-minded, that I don't have to deal with one of my worst nightmares, which is the freaking pro-vax mother-in-law problems. I just don't want to deal with that. That would literally be probably the worst thing that could happen to me, 10, 15 years from now. Don't do it. Don't do it, Sebastian. Don't. Don't do your mother like this. Don't do your mother like this. I don't. I'm sorry, you guys. Get into these dark places. You're like, what did you do for a week without vaccine talks? I'll tell you what I did for a week. I looked up everything else, and now I'm like, God, I wish I just stuck to the one freaking topic. Because I looked up everything else. I wanted to understand organized crime and our entire slavery. I got into probably every conspiracy just to understand it. I just wanted to understand it. Why do people think the way they do? And before they're silenced, I want to know why they think that way and what their, reasoning is. I just want to hear it out, no matter how crazy I think it sounds. And you know what ended up happening? What ended up happening is I feel like I joined forces with half of them. Like now I want to go to Antarctica. I want to go to Antarctica because you can't just go to Antarctica. They're like, thousands of people go to Antarctica. Yeah, but they go via tour. You know that you can't just go to Antarctica? Did you know that? But we've been told that oh no, God, I said I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it. Because we've been told forever, right? I looked up the CBD thing. I was like, the history on it. Why are we like this? Why do we think this way about CBD? This is why. Okay, the Antarctica thing. What have we been told about Antarctica? That it's unlivable. Okay, it's just nobody can live there. You literally would die if you stepped foot there. You would need all of the... Okay, so the only way you can go there is via a tour. So you either have to have $8,000 for the cheapest tour or $50,000 if you want a private tour where the tour guide takes you to the spots to get photos of uninhabited land. Okay, but who does live there? Well, apparently 500 to 1,000 researchers live in Antarctica. Oh, now I want to dive into that. I'm not even halfway through. Antarctica. What's the deal? What is the deal? Are we just all surrounded by that? And then somebody was like, yeah, tell them that everything's round and that, Guys, I know it sounds crazy. I know I'm going to lose half of you. Actually, I want to show you this thread because all I did, I think the day before, or was it, okay, we were on our way to Disney, so it was Thursday, and I was like, I'm just going to ask a question on my Facebook, and I'm going to get to these responses later. So all I did was ask, let's pull this up, because I woke up the next morning, and it was 400 comments, and I just started laughing, and he's like, we got work to do today, we got this whole, and I was like, yep, it's super important. But then a part of me was also like, oh, I can't wait to go home and read through these comments. Can I pull up this thread? You guys, okay. This is all I asked. Guys, ready? So I finally added the follow button on my Facebook and the, crossing my fingers hope of please I can't deal with any more trolls and I don't want to get on any more lists. But I added the follow option, which I'm a bit back and forth on right now, but whatever. So for now, it's on there. Okay, here's what I asked. I said, friends who have gone down this path, send me all your dinosaurs did/did not exist info below. And you guys, oh, so waking up to see all of this, I was just, and I honestly was like, you know what, it's going to be funny. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I just now, I realized how asleep I still apparently have been. And I posted this too. I was like, look, I just found this funny. So it's just this meme of like somebody's lying. Like, because literally, how can they? There's no way. There's no way that these animals can. And then this one too is like, a male and female stegosaurus are about to mate. Now, can you please explain how this could possibly occur? So here's what I want you guys to do. I want, before we have a huge conversation on this for a conspiracy night, take this into account. It's 30 minutes, okay? I just want you guys to watch this. It's 30 minutes. This guy, like, his videos half the time get taken down. He has to reload them. And it's such a well put together video that it's kind of, not that it's hard to dispute, but I'm just opening up a conversation. If you can all watch this, and then, maybe Friday or Saturday or maybe Monday next week. I'll give you guys till Monday next week. Let's talk about this together. Because what ended up happening, and then look through that feed and look through those responses, okay? Holy guacamole. Okay? I was like, cool. I never knew that every dinosaur bone is not even a real bone. In every museum we have, like 70% of all of them are made in China. It's plaster and they melt down pig bone and they reform these other bones. The entire thing of how, a quick breakdown if you're like, okay, I'm going to invest 30 minutes of my life watching this. Just do it. Watch it before they remove it, okay? Watch it before they remove all this stuff. But when somebody's like, what is the deal on all this? I'm going to give you just a quick breakdown because I'm fascinated. I am absolutely fascinated. So here's the sum up. The first ever mention of dinosaurs in history was around 1850. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't lose any of you. Okay, it was around 1850, which is when the existence of giant humans was covered up. If you try to Google or DuckDuckGo right now, giant humans and what that discovery was, there's still going to be some images on there. Please look it up before it just gets wiped. Is there a coincidence in this? Well, this was around the time that the theory of evolution was coming out and presented to the world. So millions of years apparently go by and there's zero documentation of any of these findings, and also real bones not used in museums, made of plaster, just no real bones. They're like, oh, the real bones we found are hidden. And then you get the people that jump on and they're like, I went to Argentina and I went to one of those dinosaur farms and we actually saw dinosaur bones. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I saw some of these other responses and people are like, that's really nice that you got to play paleontologist for a week after you paid to enter a farm and find a bunch of dinosaur bones. That's awesome. So then I'm reading through this stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the whole like, think of the Chinese calendar. For instance, why is the dragon the only myth creature on the entire Chinese animal chart? There's the year of the dog, the year of the rat, then there's the year of the dragon. So were there dragons back then? Were there actually dragons? Maybe not the fire-breathing dragons that we're seeing in all of our Hollywood movies, but every other culture, from the Greeks to they had in their books regarding mythology and their tales, it was always dragons involved. And so people want it now. When you get involved into this thing, it's like, okay, so some person, this is this girl named Rocio, she broke this down. Dinosaurs existed, but they are not a creation of God. Dinosaurs' purpose were for the giants. When the fallen came to teach mankind about war, witchcraft, astrology, and secrets from heaven, when God instructed Noah to build the ark, it was to rid the earth of everything that was going on, including hybrid beings, dinosaurs, giants, etc. Noah's family was spared because their DNA was not corrupt. Remember, Jesus had to be born from pure DNA and his lineage comes from Noah. So you have a lot of Christian scientists that are against the entire dinosaur thing that we've been taught. For them, they said the theory of evolution and the whole dinosaurs being found was really to just, it was pretty much to disprove the Bible. And that was a big, like, okay, oh my gosh. Because the oldest tree that they've ever found evidence of in the entire planet is 4,300 years old, is the latest that they can date it back. How about the fact that they can tell you how the dinosaurs died 65 million years ago, but they can't tell you how your baby died after getting 8 vaccines? You're like, who's doing? And then, not only that, but if you go into these documentaries, the main 2 guys that were finding all the bones, okay, had a bit of a rivalry going on, and they also had vested interest. So, like, how is it that the 2 people with the vested interest in these theories and in all of this stuff were the only ones finding all of these bones? So, so there's a lot to this. Man, I said I wasn't going to go down this whole thing. I was like, I'm just going to stick to what I know and what I like to talk about. But I'm being completely honest with you here. I'm still not 1,000% convinced on either end of this. I just find it all fascinating. I find it really fascinating that none of these dinosaurs... So initially, when they put all these dinosaur species together, they had like hundreds of species that these 2 guys found. And they're like, oh, they wrote books about it. Then decades go by, and before they died, they had to admit that no, so there weren't 100 plus species. There was maybe only like 13 or 14. They literally admitted that they had to make it up as they were going along. Like they would find a head and then piece bones together in a really interesting way to be like, oh, this is, and then you look at those bones and then you start seeing other animals that we do still currently have in existence. Like that looks like a neck of a giraffe, but then with a dinosaur head on it. And that rib cage is a rib cage of like an elephant or a hippopotamus or a, like, you guys, one of the first times I ever got detention as a kid, I was in elementary school, and I remembered explaining this to my dad at the dinner table, and he was like, Talia, why do you do this to yourself? And I was like in elementary school, and it was because we were doing these dinosaur projects, okay? They were these dinosaur projects, and I remembered telling my teacher that just sounds crazy. I was like, this is, like, I think I said it was stupid, and that's why I got detention, because I thought that the T-Rex was just really stupid. I was like, this big dinosaur with his like tiny hands. I was like, so okay, so this guy's got super tiny hands. Then you want to tell, because Jurassic Park was also coming out in theaters. So it's like, so these velociraptors who, I'm just going off right now. So wait, these velociraptors that were so brilliant, like so brilliant, could open up all these doors, right? Sense everything. But they didn't survive all of like the flooding and the lava. They didn't survive. But like the sloths survived. Or like the pigeons survived. Like think of every dumb animal that made it. And so you guys, it's a fascinating thread to go down. It's 400 different comments, you know. Oh man, I had fun with this one. I had so much fun with this one. And I think you guys will too. Tag yourselves in it so that you don't forget and you could reference it, because I think I've had like 10 posts on top. But, you know, just biblically, the earth is only 7,000 to 11,000 years old. My gosh, just the way the earth was set up, and the fact that like when a rainbow comes in, it's in globe, it's, you know, in the U form like this. And so we're just, oh, I love it. I love it. Just give me all of this. And then my husband's like, what? Why? What does it even matter? Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter and make a difference and put a dent in like what my real purpose, I think, on this earth is. It's just one more thing that we've been lied to about. So it's like, who is creating the news? Whoever controls the news, whoever controls that literally gets to control everything we've been taught. They do. And nobody can sit back and be like, oh, conspiracy theorists. Like, we have been lied to about a lot of stuff. Okay, we could just talk about the entire several decades that they told us all that cigarettes don't cause cancer, and how many people bought that, and the doctors were still promoting it even to pregnant women. We had a lot of dark eras in our history where the powers that be openly and have admittedly, okay, sorry, oops, that was a lie, yet we still let them be in control of everything. So I'm just saying. Antarctica is being preserved, and why? What land is on Antarctica? What is actually there? Why can't we see it? Why are we not allowed in Antarctica? And why are we not even questioning it? Aha! Because all you know about Antarctica is that it's not livable. Well, we were told growing up with all these continents that this continent of Antarctica is just, don't go there, don't do it, don't go there, it's not livable. But nobody asked why? Nobody asked, well, what if I just wanted to charter something and go there by myself? Do you know what this feels like? You guys have seen The Truman Show, right? I feel literally like Hollywood is just laughing their asses off at us because it's that scene in Truman Show where he's like, I want to grow up and be an explorer. And the teacher's like, well, honey, look, everything's been explored, though. Everything's been explored. There's no need to do that. There's no more exploring. What's west of Westeros, Arya? We don't know. Really, Arya? You're going to freaking go and become Columbus? That's how you're going to end Game of Thrones? Really? Like thousands of years, Arya, with Targaryens owned dinosaurs that they would fly. P.S. I'm referencing Game of Thrones right now. If you don't watch it, you'd be confused. But okay, thousands of years. This is how stupid everything sounds. The Targaryens had dragons for thousands of years and never flew west of Westeros? Never. That's how I'm feeling right now. We've had the means to do it, and we're not demanding more. Why is the only Antarctica? Oh, no, there's totally... We've seen footage of Antarctica, okay? So you get people that are like, we've seen the footage, okay? National Geographic and the History Channel, they show us the footage. Yeah, guys, they're the only ones that can show you the footage. That's the footage you get to see. There's no other footage. My uncle went to Antarctica, you know, on which cruise line did he take? What cruise line did he take? What tour did he have to pay extra for? What expedition that was manned by maybe one of the 500 to 1,000 researchers that live on Antarctica? Oh, man. Do I want to go to it? Well, no. No. I mean, if it was funded. But what is that? What is that? And how have we, oh my gosh, the programming is just so thick. We got billions of people on this planet. No one wants and has that burning desire in them to just like, I'm going to go to Antarctica. Because here's the thing. You can't. You cannot. I dare you. I just kidding. I don't dare you, because then you're going to come use that against me. Oh my gosh, this girl just like dared us all to go to Antarctica and like we couldn't even survive. I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy travel. I'm not saying that the terrain is going to be, you know, easy or it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You might actually get there and then never come back because it's such this well-preserved paradise on earth secret that you're going to be like, I don't want anybody to know about this. And everyone else sucks. Everyone else doesn't even have the burning desire to know, so F them. Who cares? I'm kidding. Or am I? It's a dark place. I'm telling you, I get to these very dark places. But you know, or they go, literally they go, is that heaven on earth? Is that where paradise is? You know, I can tell you with 1,000% certainty, they're not spraying Antarctica. They're not spraying. Is that where other things are buried and hidden? And nobody cares. No one cares. It's okay. Moving on. Moving on. Okay, so understanding our slavery and why we're slaves. I'm kidding. I'm trying to be really just, about this. But you guys, oh my gosh, am I becoming what I said I wasn't going to become? Am I becoming what I'm like the elitist that has $0. But I understand now. I get it. Bill Gates, are you listening? I understand, okay? I get it. Hello, everybody who's a part of the WHO and I get it. I get it. It's too late now, though, because I've, like, divulged all this stuff. But can you, like, give me a slap on the wrist and I'll stop? I don't want any money. Just don't kill me. But I understand now why you want everyone, just gone. Because I've seen the herd, and I've seen it with my own eyes, that they don't even read. They don't even read. And they don't want to read. They just want to regurgitate stuff. I get it. God, are you listening? Because I understand why when you freed Israel from the hands of Egypt for 400 years of slavery, why you had to let them just sit in the desert, because they started complaining. They complained. They wanted to go back to the slavery thing. And it was like, dude, how must that have felt, God? That must have felt like, what the heck? What was the point? Guys, I parted the Red Sea, okay? And you're still doubting me? This is crazy. All right, you guys have to live in the desert for 40. You're going to die off, and you're not going to get to inherit paradise or these lands. Your kids will get to inherit it because your freaking old minds need to just go. They need to go. I literally just cannot. There's a woman in my church, didn't want to talk about anything with me because she's like, I'm not believing. I only get my news from Fox or ABC or MSNBC. That's where I get my news from. So I don't know what it is you're trying to tell me, what conspiracy you're trying to tell me about, but like that, I was like, oh, okay. That's the only place you'll get your news from? Yeah, because it's a trusted news source. Maddening. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just trying to give you some life-saving information, and I guess you don't want it. Because the reality is most people don't want it. And when we talk about what the heck is going on with these freaking people, who don't give a crap, I've told you this before. We've discussed this before. We've talked about, and it was a very dark conversation we all had, but here we go. Now I got into all of this, but to reasons why people continue to do these things and continue to hands out open, welcoming the poison, right? Why do parents continue to do this, and why don't they care to learn anything about it? Because it does go against their belief system. But number one, it's because they would have to admit that they were tricked into poisoning their children. Okay, that's number one. There's your first takeaway. If you have friends and family right now that you've even shown them bits of truth here and there, and you are so frustrated because you're going, these products have no liability. You're risking everything. You understand this, right? And a lot of this, it's hard to reverse. So please study up on it. And they're still going with the flow. The dark conversation we've had on this and how it's a form of Stockholm Syndrome, well, many of them really, you guys, cannot admit. Because once they admit that this stuff is what it is, which is so clear for everyone to see, that means they'd have to admit that they were tricked. They were duped. They were deceived. And that's a pride thing. A lot of people can't admit that. So that's one thing. That's only one down the list of 10 I've got right now. They can't admit. It takes too much of a psychological toll on them, and it is easier to live life. It is just easier for them to continue to live life with these false beliefs, okay? Their ego's response is first to protect itself. That is the foremost and first response of your ego. You gotta protect yourself. It's way too hard for them to admit that they willfully volunteered themselves or their babies for a toxic injection. It's too tough. They can totally agree with you when you tell them, but fluoride is poisonous, right? And they'll say, yeah, fluoride is terrible for you. It's awful that it's in the water. And you're like, but it's a form of Stockholm Syndrome. They have in turn now gained favor with their abusers, okay? This abusive relationship we have with our government. They don't want to research. Why? It's inconsequential to do research, you guys. If you want to avoid the bullying from authority and the majority. They don't want to be bullied by not just the media and those that are in charge of the show. They don't want to be bullied by the people that they have to come into contact with on a daily basis because because and that is why they say that dreams die, and how many tens of millions of dreams are just dead in grave sites all over the country, because we are too afraid to even take a risk when it comes to just something we want to pursue personally. So imagine already having that like fear, and just the fear of not being welcomed and not being accepted in a society like this. So why research? You know, you want to avoid the bullying more than anything. You would rather avoid the bullying than the side effects and reactions of putting documented poison into your system. That is what they're admitting to. That is what they're admitting to, okay? It's fear. They're just afraid. But when you inject documented poison into your child, the chances of something going wrong have significantly increased. And now it's the blame game, okay? We're blaming everything else. We're going to blame circumstance, location, bad timing. We'll blame the government sometimes, the system, parents who did the opposite. Let's blame the parents who didn't do this, who actually researched and didn't do this. Let's blame them, because clearly by them not doing what I'm doing, it's effing with what I'm doing. It has to be effing with what I'm doing, right? Right? Because if I have a headache and I take this headache medicine and it doesn't work, it's because my neighbor didn't take the same headache medicine. It becomes this psychological benefit now for the parent, never for the child. That is a huge takeaway in this for those that like, it is a benefit now only to the parent, not for your child. So many don't want to hear this, but what have you done? What have you done? You have put yourself first. Way to go. Your child is once again way down there on the priority list of things. And it is a form of gang initiation. If you've studied up on gangs and how they're formed and how they initiate gangs to begin with, you will see that it is also never about the kids. It's never about the kids, because there is overwhelming evidence right now on how it is actually harming and affecting children. So the children don't matter. Your kids don't matter. We already know who they don't matter to, but way to go by, in a way, admitting that they don't really matter to you either. You're sacrificing your babies, okay, to gain favor with peers and family members who, P.S., will be the first to turn your ass in when the shit hits the fan. They'll be the first to throw you in, because if they disagree with you already to begin with, you know what they're thinking? They're thinking, well, you know, she did it to herself. She did it to her. I love her, and I love her kids. But she's doing it to herself, you know. It's too bad. But she really doesn't deserve those children. She doesn't deserve those children if she's not going to do all of the steps and all of the things on the CDC recommended guidelines. She did it to herself. And you do have family members and friends that will think that way. So fuck them. Slow business kill model, right? Just a slow kill. The research doesn't matter. Your children are now lambs to the slaughter. Way to go. And people are no longer people anymore, right? So when I say gang initiation, touching in on that just a little bit more, if the tribe that you're surrounding yourself, which is a crappy tribe if they do this, but if the tribe you're surrounding yourself with, they all do it, you are the outcast if you don't. You're the complete outcast if you don't. In fact, you probably just don't talk about it. And in fact, you probably lie to them and tell them that you do. And you're secretly afraid to now go to parties knowing their kids have been recently because they're shedding, and you don't even have the freaking guts in you to tell them, hey, I don't really want to go to this party because I heard you just got all of the boosters and the doses, and I know you're shedding, your kid's shedding, that sucks. And you have to make up and lie. You got to lie about whatever else is going on that weekend so you can avoid seeing these people, okay? So, what else would you call that? What else would you call that? That's an intimidation, that's a gang, I would rather be alone in a cave than have a tribe like that, where you can't be yourself. Sad. It's just sad. It's a little pathetic. But I'm not calling you pathetic. It's just if you realize that, and I'm guilty of it too. But when you start realizing that there is better out there and your tribe will come and find you, your meant to be tribe will come and find you, okay? But think about it and how it very much is a gang initiation. What have you put yourself in? What have you agreed to that you didn't realize you agreed to? That you get to not be yourself, to impress what and who? Oh, well, my kids love playing with their kids, and guess what their kids are gonna grow up to be? I hate to break it to you, but their kids are going to ultimately grow up. If you're woke, their kids are going to grow up to be the kids that you don't want influencing your kids. All right? I'm not telling you guys right now to break up with all your friends and family. I'm not. I'm just saying at least sit back and put it together and see it for what it is. That's all. That's all I'm saying. What am I going to? I'm going to have my Sebastian fall in love with a kid he's grown up with, and like naturally like they're going to just fall in love with each other, and like, but PS, the entire time we just can't talk about like what we do as a family, and we can't. Are you kidding me? We're not Romeo and Julieting this crap. It's not going to happen. Nope. Oh man, what if that's like the new for bloodlines, right? It's like, I don't mean to be that person right now, but we can't mix bloodlines. What would you even call that? It's not a racist thing. It's not a culture thing. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a completely different name for this. It's going to be, we can't mix right now because it's going to be their own. They're definitely going to have their own bloodlines, okay? Because they've been injected with every animal under the sun and human DNA. We clearly already don't have the same blood. Were you guys prepared for this live today? But look, people are no longer people anymore. We can't make decisions without fear, which is the worst time to make a decision. Whenever I get the messages in my inbox of, oh, my appointment is tomorrow, and we don't know what to say, and we know that they're going to push, sometimes they're taken aback when I go, cancel the appointment. If you're not ready and you haven't done enough research, cancel the appointment. And they're like, it's like there's this quiet. Like that thought didn't even come across that they could just cancel an appointment. Wait, but don't I have to go to these? It's like the 2, 4, 6. Who said that? Who said you had to go? And they're shocked. Or how many of you are getting the survey phone calls? Talia, this is coming in my phone. You're sending me screenshots of like the surveys that are being conducted, or phone calls that are coming in, and voicemails where they're conducting a survey to see who in the family and who in the household is up to date. And then I tell them, don't pick up. Send it to voicemail. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. Yeah, you could. You could do that. You could go wrong number. I'm walking in a spider web. Leave a message and I'll call you back. Guys, there's like 1,000 excuses. If you're lying all day long anyway, if you're going to lie at the pediatrician's appointment because of how you really feel, if you're going to lie to your friends and family, if you're going to lie because you don't want to inconvenience every other person around you and make them think less of you, you might as well... Hi, wrong number. No, this line is not their line anymore. I don't know why you keep calling it. Oh my God, I just lied to the CDC survey representative. Oh my God. Yeah, guess what? They lie to you every damn day of your life. Way to go. Evil does not deserve the truth. I have a little IGTV that's saved for now. It's like, I think 10 minutes long. I do a talk on that evil does not deserve the truth. Just for those Christians that are out there listening to this, that are like, I can't lie. And you're surrounded by those that are lying to you, and it's okay. All right, because we are in this not able to make a decision without fear. My doctor's making me feel guilty. My mother-in-law is blank, blank, blank. I'm being pressured by blank, blank, blank. Oh my gosh, the worst time that you can ever make a decision that's going to affect your child's health possibly forever is out of fear. Aren't you more afraid of how you're going to explain this to your kid in 20 years? That's what scares me more. You guys want to talk about fear? I am more afraid of what I'm going to say to my kids in the future when they're adults. And I don't want to be that parent that's going to be like, oh, honey, I didn't know. Well, every parent was doing it. Every parent was, it was all the rage. I'm sorry. You don't want to be that person. That scares me more. I'm more afraid of future me and future my children than I am of any who, what, where, who cares, whatever person that's going to come into my life. Clearly. Because you guys, if you control nothing or very little in your life, controlling your child, right, will compensate for all the lack of control that you have as a parent. That's another giveaway in why these parents continue to, even after being, with the seeds being planted, even after all, just that's how thick the indoctrination is, they have control now. They think they have control at least over their children. And control is a basic human need. It really is, okay? Children are the least resistant, which is, it just means that they need the most protection. They need the most care. They need the adults in society to give up about them. They are weak and defenseless. And the only people you control are people who are weak and defenseless. So as a parent who has been lied to by the system, who can't admit that they've been lied to, who is guilt-ridden, who still wants to be a part of the gang and still wants that life, you know, because that's more important, is being accepted than it is to like care about their children, if you think about it. The only reason they can continue to get by is because they do still have some control. They have control over their kids, for now. And then what's going to happen to you when those kids have left the nest? If they ever leave the nest, by the way, if you don't put them in a debilitating state where you feel like a prisoner now for the rest of your life because your 18-year-old is never going to have a normal life, you know? Oh, but we've normalized that. It's okay. It's normal now. It's normal. You didn't hear? You didn't get the news? It's normal that in 20 years, 1 in 2 people will be on an autism spectrum. And that one person that's not out of the 2, will the 50%? This is my question. In 20 years or less, when it's 1 in 2, will that 50% give a fuck? Or will they just, whew, well, at least I came out of this alive a little bit. I don't know what this forever itch in my throat is, but I came out alive. Will they ever ask? Will they ever question? Will they ever talk about the history that by then is gone and deleted? It's having to give a shit. And you know what? What's sad about all of this is that slowly but surely, I used to really care. And it's not that I don't care. You guys see, I put a lot of time and energy into, I do care, okay? I get cynical, but I care. But will they care enough, or will they treat that other half like, well, that sucks. You kind of deserved it because you didn't wake up and whatever. You know, that's a kind of sad reality that I don't want to face either. Because you do get to those points when you're talking to somebody long enough and they still want the poison. What do? You do kind of throw up your hands and say, okay, fine, maybe you should get it. And it sucks, and you don't want to get to that, you know? Monica, me too. I refuse to normalize this, but it's happening whether we normalize it or not. So I'm going to end the live there because I have a few other Zoom chats to do, but we will jump back on tomorrow. So tomorrow around same time, okay? And yeah, Jeff was going to jump on. I think we wanted to do something later because we wanted to talk about our experience on Friday and have both of our point of views so you guys can hear that out. So if you have questions on that, message me. But we'll chat soon, guys. Have an amazing day. Look into the dinosaur thing. And Antarctica. Okay, bye.
Did you know that every time you swipe your debit card, those behind-the-scenes transaction fees make the big banks even richer? In 2016 alone, these fees added up to $60 billion. Yes, that's billion.